So here's how we build human sounding AI voice agents and how they've actually generated over $1.6 million in pipeline revenue over the last 60 days. So we've installed AI voice agents in over 20 businesses in the last 60 days, some in the B2B space, some in the home services space. And here's how we make them sound so real that they've booked over 75 appointments and generated over $1.67 million in pipeline revenue. So most AI calls actually sound robotic. And the problem was that we needed AI agents that could actually hold human conversations and could do it naturally in a way that is believably and more apparently profitable so that it generates actual real value for the business. And the result is we built over 100 AI agents. Some of the agents were multiple agents in one same company, and some were for different companies. We did it over 21 businesses installed in 60 days. We generated 1.6 million revenue, and we did these agents we built handled inbound calls, revived cold CRM leads, and also went out and created new opportunities in the marketplace. So let's dive into it. So the first thing is the background setup. So it's very, very important that you define the role. So for example, you can say, hey, I am an experienced business development rep, and that gives the AI agent the understanding of the role. Also, you want to clarify the task. So the task of this AI agent is to follow up with interested painting service leads or to do some specific action so the AI can understand its task. And then you want to give it some context. So you want to give it parameters. So for example, hey, your outreach covers interested parties in a residential and commercial project space. So that way it really understands the types of people it'll be talking to, right? And then you want to establish pronunciation rules. This one tripped us so much because sometimes the AI would weirdly pronounce email addresses or even the way it give times, right? It would just say it weirdly in a non-natural way. So you want to give it clear instructions on how to pronounce emails or say the time. And then you want to prepare objections handling and frequently asked questions so that way it understands everything. And then the next thing is to manage the conversation flow. So the way I typically like conversations to go is to confirm the identity. Hi, is this still Sarah? And then once you do that, you want to introduce the value of the offer. So I noticed you visited our website, or I noticed you filled out a form. And then from there, you want to then ask qualifying questions. So for example, what is your budget for this project? And then you also want to decide the qualification parameters. So, if the budget, for example, is less than $100,000, you want to politely reject them because they don't fit your criteria. And I find that asking, 3 to 4 qualification questions is very important. Also, one thing we've noticed is that when we get the prospect engaged in the conversations versus talking at them, they're actually more likely to show up for the appointment and be more committed to what we're talking about. And then the last thing is call to action. We do like to book a call, so that's obviously very, very important to take that action. And then from there, the one thing is you want to really humanize the AI voice. And we learned a lot of lessons how to humanize the AI voice. The first thing is to insert natural pauses. So we used to make the mistake where, the AI would ask a question and then the person will try to respond right away, but the AI talks over them and it becomes a little choppy and messy, which is obviously not a good experience. So you want to insert those natural pauses and, we generally find that 3 seconds is the sweet spot. You also want to add word fillers, as. This one actually came as a feedback from one of our clients. Basically, they said, hey, people don't talk perfectly like this. You have to add those and the as and those extra little small things that make humans sound distinct. And that was a very interesting learning. And then we find that personalizing with custom variables, like saying the name of the person, their business name, their location, that was really, really important. And then also disclosure. So we don't want to trick people into thinking they're talking to a human being. We've actually found, and we've listened to hundreds and hundreds of recordings, that people are thrilled, they're excited to talk to a human being. So you still want to also show them that, people are trained to talk to the AI meant. So you still want to obviously, show and disclose that you are an AI assistant and you're here to help them. And you want to plan for failure. So you want to have fallback responses. So if the person said, this is not John, then you have to have a way to handle that, or if they're confused, if they're not quite sure. So that is very, very important. And then you want to also be able to do a live transfer to a human agent. If for whatever reason they're agitated, they're not happy, you want to have a fail safe. And then you want to plan for bad actors. So there are lots of recordings we listened to where there were lots of sexual jokes and just basically tricking the agent and trying to abuse the agent, which is very interesting. So you want to terminate the call whenever you suspect abuse like that. And then you want to have polite endings. Thank you for your time. Have a great day, regardless of whatever the outcome is. People really value that, even though that's coming from an AI agent. So I'm going to show you an exact replica of what an agent looks like on our platform when we built it. Let's dive in.